people call stenographer, the people who why am I doing this with my fingers? The people who record in court, you know how those people document every single thing as people are talking? That's how our minds are. So it doesn't stop to be like, oh, that's a false statement. Throw that out.
My beauty, my style, self-growth, my way.
Hey love, welcome or welcome back. If this is your very first time, my name is Toni and we have got a good one. So we're going to hop right in because y'all know I don't like to waste time. We want to get out the matrix. We want to exit the matrix once and for all. We don't want to backtrack, backslide, exit 100%. And that's what we're going to discuss today, and actually obtaining limitless thinking. So I'll start with this. I was watching Reinvent and Reinvent, and if you guys have not watched them, their channel is Soft Life Through Christ. Excellent topics, but specifically they had a topic about having childlike faith, and Renaya was speaking about how her nephew, I want to say she was like playing with him one day and she said he was just jumping from something into her arms, right? And she said there was a point in time where he was jumping before she even was looking, and think about how kids operate, right? Like when we're that young, we're 2 and 3 years old, we don't know anything. We're just experiencing life. We are jumping off of stuff. We're climbing out of stuff. Like I can remember when I think my son was like 9 months old and he started trying to escape his crib and climbing out of it all kind of ways. Like when we're babies and when we're toddlers and when we're that young, we don't know anything. We don't know what is going on in the world. We are free as children. Let's think about this for a moment. When we're kids, when we're toddlers, especially babies and toddlers, we don't know anything. That means that we're free from ideas, we're free from values, we're free from cultural standards that we might have in our individual families. We're free from impressions that our parents and aunts and uncles and grandmas and everybody else in our family put onto us. Here's a key thing that I want you to take away right now, and if you need to pause it, write it down, get your pen, get your tablet, whatever you gotta get. Understand this: a mindset is not something that you're born with. Again, impressions, values, standards, all of these different things, we're not born with that. That is something that is taught. It's not that we ourselves choose to learn it. It is what is impressed upon us. We're all a part of families, and what our parents learned and what their parents learned, all of those values trickle down into how we're raised, which obviously helps shape our thinking as we get older. So example of this, I have a fear of vomit. I have a fear of the sound of vomit. This was something that I picked up as a child, definitely not on purpose. My brother sounds like a exorcist is happening when he throws up. So this traumatized me as a kid, like hearing that sound. And my husband actually finally understood why, like literally probably 2 years ago when my brother was staying with us temporarily and he heard it for himself. He was like, oh my God, now I get it. It's bad. Like it's real bad. So anyway, I still have that fear till this day. If anybody even says, oh, my stomach hurts, I'm like, oh my God, are you gonna throw up? Like, do I need to pull over? Do you need to get out? I literally, y'all, I left my brother-in-law at work one day because he was throwing up. And I was like, I cannot have you in my car and at any moment you could explode. Like I literally wrecked this car and we both gonna be in the hospital somewhere. I can't do it. But here's the thing. I have put that fear onto my oldest son. And my oldest son now has that same issue. My baby, my youngest, he has a very sensitive stomach. And I'm talking about this kid can throw up at a drop of a dime, but he's really good about it. He makes it to the bathroom. He knows he has a sensitive stomach. But every time my younger son even makes a face, my son is like, oh my God, are you gonna throw up? And I was like, oh my God, I have doomed this child because of my own fears. I said that example to really get you guys to understand none of what we know is something that we're born with. This is not anything that is in our DNA. Everything that you know, everything that you have learned up until this point in your life has been taught to you. Here is the best part about this and why I kind of gave this backstory about how we learn and how all of this is just a part of us as we grow older. is because of this. If we take the time to unlearn all of those things that have been programmed into us since children, we can alter our thinking. All of us know at least one person who has gone on a physical transformation in their life. They took those bad habits, those eating habits, they got to the root cause of what their issues were. They unlearned all of those habits, created new habits, changed their lifestyle, and then you look up and that person is 100+ pounds lower than what they were because of what? They changed their thinking. They changed what they knew to create new habits. And that's really and truly all it is. To really understand limitless thinking is to understand the power of the mind. Growing up, my mama was one of them mamas, she was a single parent, y'all. She did the best that she could. And shouts out to my mama because she is an amazing mother. She was a single mom, so she only had a certain budget to work with. I heard a lot of the money don't grow on trees. Like, I promise, that was my mama's tagline from the time I couldn't have my first memory, which I was like 4, until the time I graduated. Money don't grow on trees. Like, I heard it all the time. My mind began to accept that as fact, that money didn't grow on trees and I did not have access to money. So I had used cars from the time I was 16. Like, my very first car was a used car, but it was sentimental because it belonged to my uncle and my uncle had passed away. So I loved it. But as I grew older, a lot of the cars that like my dad would talk to me about, he is a used car fanatic. And when he spoke about it, he would speak from the mindset of, well, what's the point in going to buy a new car? They're high, they're this and that. So I started accepting that in my mind to the point where I would go and look at new cars and stuff, and I would look at that MSRP and I was like, oh no, like, who the hell and why the hell am I about to pay a $600 car note? I can't afford that. Every time, you know what, matter of fact, save that because we're about to get into that in a second. But again, I took everything that I was saying, not realizing how powerful my words were. And all of this started becoming fact and registering in my mind that I did not have enough. So all of my cars were used up until 2018. And I'm gonna tell y'all the truth, I didn't have a lot of cars. In 2018, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna buy a new car. But again, mind you, up until this point, I have always told myself that I couldn't afford a new car. I couldn't afford the MSRP, and I couldn't afford a $600 car payment. Well, guess what? My very first brand new car was a 2018 Jeep Cherokee. Sticker price at about, I want to say like $29,000 when I got it. Back then, baby, that credit was shot, okay? I had a really high interest rate going into that vehicle. And I'm talking about a sky high interest rate. My car payment was $677 a month, which is actually not bad for a brand new car. I mean, obviously it would have been a lot lower if my interest rate wasn't so high, but it is what it is. Because of all of that limited thinking that I had, and always telling myself that I couldn't afford an MSRP of, a brand new car, and I can't afford a $600 car payment, and all of these things, what I was telling myself. Within the first year, I had to voluntarily repossess my car. Yep. I have no shame. I mean, it is what it is. That was several years ago at this point. I had to, within the first year, voluntarily repossess my car because I couldn't afford it. And the reason I couldn't afford it was not because I didn't make enough money and not because I didn't budget correctly and all of that, but because in my mind, I always registered that I couldn't afford a brand new car and I couldn't afford a $600 car payment. And because I had told myself that for so long and so many years, that is exactly what happened. What I want you to understand is there is so much power in the tongue. We have to acknowledge that before you can really understand what true limitless thinking is. So, how do we reprogram our minds? How do we exit that matrix and really come into this unlimited way of thinking, this limitless power of all of the things that we speak, and really obtain a happy, healthier life? First things first, we've already acknowledged that we have power in what we say. So acknowledging that really means that you have to make a day-to-day effort to really stop yourself before you speak. How many times have we heard you need to think before you speak? But a lot of the times we speak before we think. And that is why we end up saying things that we really don't mean. And we say all of these negative, statements. And then then we look up and we got all of this negative stuff happening in our lives. Well, that's because you created it that way. I have had to really watch my thoughts. I used to have a lot of negative thoughts and I don't know why. Like, I really thought I was like a little off in the head at some point, because I'm like, why do I have all of these negative thoughts constantly flowing through my head? But as I acknowledge that a lot of what I know was something that was impressed upon me, I, on a day-to-day, listen to my thoughts. And I say listen because sometimes, y'all, I'm not crazy, I promise y'all, but there be a little voice in my head that be talking to me sometimes. That sounded crazy as hell. I'm not crazy. I promise you I'm not crazy. But I have to listen to my thoughts. And if there is a negative thought that pops up in my head, I have to immediately catch it and I have to be like, no, this is not who you are anymore. So erase it. It's a constant thing that you really have to work on every single day, is catching the negative thoughts before you actually allow them to be accepted into your mind. It's so easy to alter our way of thinking, but yet we just don't do it. Why? Because we are, we have our mind set on, okay, I got my nail appointment at 5. I got to pick the kids up from school. I got to go to the grocery store. I'm trying to get this video done, so let me write down my notes. Like, we have so many thoughts per day and our minds are constantly going. If you're anything like me, my mind literally used to be like here, like a pinball machine. Like, my mind was just constantly all over the place, but I've learned to control it. I think they say like we have 6,000 something thoughts a day. That's a lot of thoughts to try to keep up with. Just take time to become more consciously aware of how you're thinking. You guys, I have spoken so many times on my channel about speaking life into yourself, and that is exactly what I mean by it. First of all, if you're telling yourself any kind of negative statement, I don't even care if you're talking about something as simple as, oh, my makeup looks ugly today. Don't ever say a negative statement to yourself, because your mind is going to accept it as true. What's them people called? Stenographer? The people who, why am I doing this with my fingers? The people who record in court, they be typing on a little thing. You know how those people document every single thing as people are talking? That's how our minds are. So it doesn't stop to be like, oh, that's a false statement. Throw that out. Like, it's just going to constantly keep recording every single thing that you say to yourself. There have been a lot of the values that I've learned since childhood that I have had to remove. I love my parents to death, love them to death, but some of the things that they taught me, I don't agree with as an adult. Again, one of the things is the way I think about an abundance type of mindset or abundance living. Now, by no means am I saying that I gotta have a 15-bedroom mansion. I don't have that many booties to sit on 15 toilets. I want a nice size home. I desire a nice size home. First and foremost, I have to have at least a 6-bedroom house. Me and my husband gotta have a room. My 3 kids gotta have a room. I need to have an office, and I need to have a guest room. So I have to have a 6-bedroom house. So in my mind, I'm gonna say, I am gonna have my 6-bedroom house. I'm going to have a brand new car once again. And this time I will be able to afford it, whatever the number is. Now, again, I'm not saying that I'm gonna go out and be like, I want a $300,000 Lamborghini. I don't desire that. My heart knows what I desire, and my heart knows that I have a certain lifestyle that I have created in my head. And honestly, the lifestyle that I've created in my head is very comfortable. You have to kind of understand what it is that you actually desire out of your life. Some people desire the luxury travel to Mauritius. Now, I would like to go to Mauritius. Let me not say that. Some people desire traveling the world constantly. I don't desire that because I have children. So I need stability. I need to have a home. I need to be mommy 24/7, 7 days a week. So that's not an option for me to just pick up and travel as a full-time travel influencer or anything like that. That's not what I desire. So be clear about what it is that you desire. And I really feel like I'm rambling at this point, but I hope I'm making sense and I hope I'm connecting all the dots. But I just want y'all to understand that you have to be clear about what it is that you desire in your life to really understand how to shape what you think and shape what you're saying to yourself. When you really begin to have that abundance mindset, or you have that mindset of a limitless thinking, a limitless ability, you become happier. I encourage you to really figure out who you are, because honestly, who you are is probably 75% somebody else, that somebody else learned and just impressed on you as a child. Start to unlearn all of those things that were taught to you as a child. It's going to take some time. I just turned 32 recently, and there are a lot of bad habits, y'all, that I got to go through of my 32 years of life. I mean, really and truly, like, we're gonna say about what, 28, because my first memory was like, what, 4. As you begin to do this, I guarantee you'll just walk around like smiling. I have just woke up smiling, like jumped out the bed, like I was dancing and whatnot, because I'm like, oh my gosh, I just feel so happy. I feel overjoyed. I feel like my life is finally shaping up the way that I wanted to, and not the values and ways that people had told me as a child. So you can obtain that limitless way of thinking. You can obtain it. You just have to choose to really open your eyes and see what is going on around you. And what is going on around you is probably, like I said, 75% of what somebody else taught to you. It's not who you are. So figure out who you are, okay? So we're gonna wrap it there. I really hope y'all enjoyed today's conversation. Like, I was sitting down, y'all know, baby, I come prepared, because I be wanting to like connect the dots, and I be wanting to make it work for y'all. But anyway, I was really excited to film today's video, because I'm like, oh my gosh, like, I have an unlimited way of thinking, and I want everybody to have an unlimited way of thinking. But anyway, like, let me stop playing. So comment down below and tell me if anything from this video has inspired you, or if it has helped you in any way. Maybe there are tips and tricks that I didn't share that you can share down in the comment section below. So make sure you do that. If you have been here before, maybe you already know, but if you have not, don't forget to hit that subscribe button below, baby. And also make sure that you are hitting that notification bell as well, okay? So y'all can see when the videos are going up on my channel. And did y'all know it's your girl is blind? Okay, I am like, this is my first time trying blind, y'all, and I was a little nervous, but ooh, it's cute. I think we might stay blind. Hold on. That's my real hair. Let's cover that up, because this is a glueless wig. But yeah, I think we're gonna stay blind for a little bit, because blondes have more fun. Let me stop playing with y'all. Anyway, love you guys. Thanks so much for rocking with me, and I hope y'all come back for the next video. So, bye.